forward to. We'll be looking at, during our bone fit segment, what is bilateral knee osteoarthritis and how serious is it? We did touch on it a little bit last week, but we will be delving into it proper today. Also, during our timeout segment, we hope to be able to look at the marking of the World Hepatitis Day. It's actually coming up in 2 days' time, but you want to hear about it because 2 days' time we won't be on radio, so we want to mark it in advance today. So we're going to be looking at the effects of hepatitis on our bones. So you want to sit tight, stay tuned, don't touch your dial, because the next few minutes is going to be a great time. Every first timer that's listening to the show for the very first time, I want to tell you that you're in the right place at the right time. Just stick it through. You'll be very delighted that you tuned in to this show this evening. So let's kick it off. We're in the month of July, that is so exceptional to our world. Recently, the 23rd of July was celebrated as World Grandparents and Elderly Day. It is a month of bonding with old and aged ones. Many parents do not take their children to visit and stay with their grandparents many parents do take their children, I beg your pardon, to visit and stay with their grandparents during the long vacations and Yuletide. So when parents do that, Time Out with Dr. Bone is advising you not to forget the oldies and their health challenges. Bone disease is a common problem in the elderly, and it is its clinical manifestations are a major preventable public health problem. The elderly and grandparents should have, in adequate measure, good supply of foods that supports bone health. They should be provided with enough calcium, vitamin D and protein each day, low-fat dairy, leafy green vegetables, fish and fortified juices. Milk and grains are also good sources of calcium. If your vitamin D level is low, do talk with your doctor about taking a supplement. Don't forget, grandparents and grandchildren always have one common enemy, that is the parents. So let me just allow Dr. Bone's comments on this World Grandparents and Old People's Day that was celebrated 3 days ago.
Yes, it was actually celebrated 3 days ago. I'm a Catholic. It was extensively celebrated in the Catholic Church, and the parish took it upon herself to visit the elderly amongst us, and also the ones that were able to come to church. They were called out, and there was this cadre of the children praying for everybody.
Wow. The
adult praying, then the elderly praying also for everybody, and thereafter, after mass, there was a reception for them.
Wow, that's so sweet.
And I learned that was the 3rd edition of the World
Elderly Day. Yeah.
So we had grandparents and great grandparents, and grandparents and great grandparents, and words of wisdom, and the rest for them. And one thing these elderly people suffer is loneliness. The before you know, the children are grown from secondary school to university. They never really come back.
If I can interrupt you, Doc, we have a caller already. Hello, good evening, welcome to the show. Hello.
Did you give out the lines yet?
Not yet, but apparently people have your number. Hello. Good evening, welcome to the show. Okay, we lost the call. Yes, please go ahead.
Before they know it, the children are off secondary school to university, and they never come back home. And they get busy with their life, and marking birthdays. They are not. It's even worse when they are abroad.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of elderly. All their children are abroad. They are just in one big house. Money is provided, but money doesn't solve the whole problem. And you have a lot of caregiver. The wicked ones maltreat them, and you see, that is why our country needs to get it right. It's not everybody that should jackpot.
Yeah.
So people need to be around to take care of their elderly. Some tend to take the elderly ones abroad with them, but the women easily adapt, but the men don't. And is
there any reason for that though?
They don't. The women can always blend with their daughters and do omugo from where the men don't do omugo. So it becomes very difficult.
Yeah.
So you see the man coming back alone and being an elderly bachelor at home, cooking his food himself and looking out for his friends and hanging out.
Yeah.
You know, they also suffer orthopedic injuries, which are poor vision, the
arthritis,
they get cold, lots of body fat, arthritis, and what we don't want is when they fall and they sustain femoral neck fracture. Hip fractures are usually terminal illnesses if the caregivers are not aggressive. So we don't want them to fall. Some are so stubborn, especially the men, that you are struggling to walk and somebody is trying to give you a walker and you are rejecting it in whichever name. That no, you cannot accept that, it will make you not become stronger. You see, compared to the men and the men are more stubborn.
Maybe because they've been strong all their lives,
and than the women. And so you see, what we need to do is, even in the Bible, take care, honor your father and your mother, so that your day may be long in the land which the Lord God has provided for you. That is one commandment that is explicit in the Christendom, that we should take care of our parents and take good care of them. Then we should also develop the culture of taking the kids to go visit during holidays, long vac. Holidays shouldn't be summer coaching, rain class coaching, Harmattan coaching. No, the holidays should be time for the kids to go visit often, to know grandpa, grandma. And you see some of the kids, there's this kid that a toddler is carrying grandpa's stick and running in front of grandpa, and grandpa is chasing
because the child knows that man can never catch you.
so we should just find time because of this loneliness.
I think it helps. I think it helps, and it helps the whole cycle of life, because usually those grandparents have become like children again. So when they have their grandchildren with them, they're able to play with them and make memories. Those grandchildren will never forget. I, for example, the memories I have of my grandparents, I still have them till this day. So you're so right that we need and then we touched a little bit on their diet.
Yes, so their diet, they don't tolerate a lot of things, and so but what you find out they like, you give it to them, and also trying to make the food balanced, that has all components at the same time. It's not that the man say I love beer and you give only beer. You must find a balance, and you don't force them to eat what they don't want, but you encourage them. They eat fine, and they don't take for much quantity because they are easily filled, and they hardly even go to toilet daily. They can go once in 2 days, 3 days, some once a week. So that is just the system winding down gradually, and what you run and do, all this by my strength, climbing the top of a tree to see. They have seen it sitting down where they are. So when they start talking words of wisdom, you keep quiet and you listen
and learn. Absolutely. And like we say on this show regularly, let's live to heal. It is the power of happiness. Let's take a short break. After this break, we'll be back. And when we come back, the first thing I'm promising to give you once we come back are the phone lines that you can reach us through on the show. We just want to take those first few minutes of the show to educate you about the elderly ones amongst us. We'll be back after this.